Shalom. First and foremost, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahakwadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father in the name of His only begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew tongue. And double honors to our teachers, the beloved apostles and elders, a great millstone who teach and rule well. And peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect, Yuakim, pushing His word in truth and sincerity across the four winds of the earth, as well as the men, women, and children alike, the believers. Shalom. It's your brother Karaitazah coming with a quick lesson out of Juan Ratazah, Lord willing. I pray that it's edifying, and it's entitled F Flag, Be Vigilant. All right, flag on the play. And we know Esau Edom is coming down with great wrath because he knows that he has a short time, Revelation 12, verse 12. So he knows that the end of his kingdom is at hand. Pursuing the second Ezra 6, verse 9, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So it's written that Esau will come down, bringing forth his grand scheme, grand plan that he has been developing for hundreds of years. So the Lord is going to use this devil because he is the sword of the Lord. These Edomites that were given the blessing of the sword in Genesis 37, verse 40, to rule over the world and the fatness of the world with the sword, which is the military troops, his stations that he has everywhere, bases all over the world. And the Lord is going to use him to come down upon the whole earth, really bringing forth his agenda to get everyone C-hipped, that digital tag going into their flesh. Everyone will be mandated to receive that pursuant to Revelation 13, verse 16. They will not be able to buy nor sell, save he that had the MRA to the MAR to the K. But we'll get into that in a later video, but Lord's will. But we know this devil is coming down. The Lord is using him. Isaiah chapter 10, he will use this Assyrian, the rod of his anger, to come against the hypocritical nation, which is 2/3 of our people, for trusting in him, for putting him and making him their God. Caesar Borgia, as well as just this lifestyle and this society. Our people have grown to love it, love their captivity, love their oppressors. Stockholm syndrome, being homeborn slaves. But the Lord is finna turn up, is finna stir up the pot, take it up a couple notches, and turn up the heat in this place, because these people think they're gonna skate off into the sunset. Let's get a few articles. The People's Voice. I'm gonna just skim through them. But it says M16 agent blows the whistle. Hundreds of Islamist sleeper terrorists in UK poised for 9/11 attack. So this is in UK, and it says hundreds of these sleeper cells, where they're just waiting, on their call to carry out missions upon the public. You see, this is in the UK, but they're preparing for an event rivaling 9/11. It says here, federal authorities arrest 4 suspect extremists in New Year's Eve bombing plot across Southern California. So this is in Southern California. The same type of behavior it says here, far left extremists, New York Post, far left extremists who allegedly planned LA New Year's Eve attack also wanted to take out ICE agents. So it's a whole, narrative that they're trying to paint to the people to be able to get their trust to roll out what they're planning to roll out. They're doing it strategically, playing chess. But it says TheHill.com, Pentagon deploys 350 troops to New Orleans through Mardi Gras. So they're deploying them all the way through Mardi Gras, which is in if I'm not mistaken, March. So that's a few months. So why, why that they're preparing, gearing up for some type of event that they're getting. It's other article we went into about a month ago. They were deploying troops across all 50 states. So they're getting them in position, but we know we're not ignorant to Satan's devices. We know that this devil is coming down. Right here, the end time headlines. It says Ukrainian drone strike knocks out power for 600,000 Russians in Moscow. So Ukraine, right, used a drone and apparently knocked out 600,000 people's power. All right, so this could very well happen here. This, in the States. It says here, experts warn the internet could crash hard and you better be ready. So, at any point, any day now, the Lord is gonna turn up. He says he's stirring up a perverse spirit in Egypt. Perverse meaning warped, distorted, and all that. These people are erring in all their ways, like a drunken man that staggereth in his vomit. Pretty soon come when the Lord starts initiating these plagues and sending forth these spirits created for vengeance through these devils, letting out their their technologies, their different blue beam projects, and trying to distort reality. The power goes out, and that's gonna change reality drastically altogether in itself, bringing about different creatures and different types of I guess you could say emotions out of these people, bringing them out, fear, different emotions, desperation, hunger, all of these different circumstances. Sirach chapter 36 and verse 6, shew new signs and make other strange wonders. Glorify thy right hand and thy right arm, that they may set forth thy wondrous works. So the Lord's finna bring forth new signs and wonders and wondrous works. It says raise up indignation, extreme anger. It says and pour indignation is righteous anger. It says and pour out wrath, extreme anger, and take away the adversary and destroy the enemy. And the enemies and adversaries of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the Heavenly Father and His Son, are 2/3 in the heathen, which are sinners. All that are sinners who do not obey nor seek Him through His word. When we go to 2nd Ezra 9, the Lord said He's going to show, these signs. 2nd Ezra 9 and verse 6, starting at verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. See, the end is manifesting itself through these words coming to life, hopping off the pages. It says, even so the times also of the highest, the Most High, have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs. You see endings and effects and signs, and it's finna get bad out here. It says, verse 7, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perilous times, deadly, dangerous times. Well, the Lord's going to keep them alive in these times. Those that have faith and works, it says, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, meaning put them aside and made them sacred and chose them from the foundations of the earth. The Lord has chosen his elect. That's why we go here, Romans chapter 13, verse 11. It says, and that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. So if the Lord called you and woke you up to this thing, it's high time to wake and seek the Lord while he may be found, before the evil day come. You know, before the time come where you don't have pleasure in this life, and you don't have even the option to seek the Lord, because the famine of the word is coming. That's a whole nother lesson as well. But this is high time to wake out of sleep. Sirach chapter 5 and verse 6, and say not his mercy is great, he will be pacified for the multitude of my sins. For mercy and wrath come from him, and his indignation rested upon sinners. So the Lord, we're not to take his grace and mercy for granted, to say, oh, the Lord, he's gonna forgive me. It says, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. Don't put it off seeking the Lord and coming into this place of his secret pavilion. Psalms 91, in the Lord's secret place, which is in the scriptures, applying his word, repenting, praying daily, fasting and getting closer to the Lord as possible, following the correct teachers, the prophets, the apostles of Great Millstone on down, the elders and bishops on down. So it says, for suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. So suddenly, right, because our people are accustomed and conform to this world, this lifestyle, this society, they're going to be destroyed. The Lord said, if you find your life, then you will lose it, but he that loses his life for my sake shall find it. So 2/3 of our people are trying to find their places, find their lives in this world. This is not our rest. It tells us that in the book of Micah. So the Lord is finna destroy them suddenly. That's why we got to be vigilant. Suddenly these things, these events, these plagues are gonna spring forth. Soon as the Lord seals the elect and is ready to let loose them plagues, like written in Revelation, all the plagues shall come in one day. It's going to come like a thief in the night. It says, set not thine heart, your mind, upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. So it's vital to seek the Lord. Ephesians 5 and verse 15. See then that ye walk circumspectly, meaning to look around, to be aware of your surroundings, spiritually as well as physically. But it says, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Don't be fools out here. Don't be just walking around with your head in the clouds, but understanding that, right, as it says, redeeming the time because the days are evil, wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. So what's the will of the Lord? To bring destruction upon this place. Amos 9 and verse 5, I think it says, the Lord has his eyes which are the angels set upon this wicked kingdom to destroy it from off the face of the earth, roughly paraphrasing, which is chiefly Babylon, spiritually, in Egypt and Babylon, which is America. So ultimately, by those nukes, the four winds of destruction that the Lord is holding back until the elect are sealed, but He's going to destroy this place. So knowing that, how are we supposed to be walking, with holy conversations, meaning holy manners of life and conduct, the way we carrying ourselves? Because we know all this place is finna be turned into the lake of fire. It's finna be melted, obliterated, demolished, So we are to be circumspect, being in the spirit of prophecy. That's the spirit of Yahweh Shai. Paying attention, being occupied in the news. 1 Peter 5 and verse 6, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that He may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon Him, for He careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant. That word vigilant, Strong's G1127, to keep awake, to watch, to give strict attention to be cautious, to be active, to take heed lest through remission and indolence some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. You see? So we ought to stay vigilant. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, this deceiver, Esau Edom, who's in power, who deceived, to cover the faces of the judges, Job 9 and verse 24. The Lord has given the earth into the hands of the wicked. This devil, this deceiver, as the roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So this devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. So we got to be on point spiritually, paying attention, watching, being in the spirit as much as possible, flowing, paying attention to the spirit. Psalms 37 and verse 7, rest in the Lord, Yahweh, and wait patiently for Him. This is where we are, in the house of mourning, waiting on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to return for the elect. It says, fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of the man who bringeth wicked devices to pass. Again, the wicked. Malachi 1 verse 3. The Esau Edom is the border of wickedness. So we are not to be fretting ourselves, because this man is seems like he's prospering with carrying out his plans. His different plays that he has wrote up in his playbook that he's finna roll out. We're not to be afraid and fretting. It says, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil, for evildoers shall be cut off. But those that wait upon the Lord Yahweh, they shall inherit the earth. You see? It says, for yet a little, the kingdom of heaven is coming. The Lord is finna set up Jacob, the Israelites, the elect, starting with the elect, 144,000 men, as well as the men, women, and children, right, pursuing the Revelation 7. So the Lord's finna do that. It says, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Right? These heathen are going into captivity, into chains. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity, and they're gonna, be workers in the kingdom, building up the kingdom. It says, but the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. You see? The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. You see? So the Lord is finna take this devil out, so we are not to be, worrying. And this is the time to be getting this knowledge and wisdom, as the Lord commanded us to, because this is what's going to get us saved. This doctrine, this oil in our lamps. It says here, Psalm 64, it says prayer for rescue from secret enemies. It says, hear my voice, O Lord, in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. And how is the Lord going to do that? Through this knowledge and wisdom. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. The Lord said, they that fear the Lord, the angels encamp round about them that fear the Lord. It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. These devils, these central bankers, the ones that's up top, upper echelon, that's got the trillions, that's controlling everything through their different companies, right? The insurrection of the workers of iniquity. It says, who wet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. You know, their legislations and laws that they write up, that they, pass. It says that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privately. They say, who shall see them? Right? Behind the scenes, the secret councils, meetings, summits, right? They're encouraging themselves in the evil matter, saying that the Lord is not going to do nothing. It says they search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. They do different studies, all type of experiments and different things. It says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. They got these different technologies underground, where they're splitting atoms and going into all type of elements to try to use them as weapons. But it says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with the arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So it says, let's see. Yeah. That's pretty much the point. They're gonna be wounded. The Lord's gonna wound them with them arrows that He's gonna send, which is the nukes. Those are the weapons of His indignation. So that's pretty much the point. Just being vigilant out here, because we see what it's a lot in the media, and information is just flooding out. So Lord will be back with more. I'm gonna end it with this one, 2 Ezra 9 again. And let's see. Okay, 2 Ezra 9, and at the top, verse 6. Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works, and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So the Lord is our God. He said to not be afraid nor doubt. He is the God of them who keep his commandments and precepts. 2 Ezra 16. So Lord willing, this was edifying, ending and giving all praise to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, or Hakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect. Kwame Asharala, Abba Baba soon, Shalom.